The world has seen one of the greatest diplomatic standoff ever in the world history. It was unbelievable as well as it was predictable. It's insane, it's ridiculous, and it's very entertaining compared to WWE or TNA as well as UFC. This standoff was not between Russia China, Russia US, US China, US India, India China, Pakistan India, Pakistan US, or name any other. It was literally between two of the greatest allies, that is United States and Europe. This drama is one of most funny as well as most ridiculous, yet very sensible and very motivational at the same time. We will see how. So let's begin our video. Donald Trump was supposed to greet Zelensky with great open arms and said, "Come on, let's make a deal on mineral security that US will take lot of mineral resources." Zelensky initially refused, but later he almost agreed. So he came to US to sign the deal. Both came, hugged each other, loved each other, made jokes like on dress, like on war. Yet the end part went nasty. All the nasty part began the moment Zelensky began insulting Trump. He started saying that only Ukraine saved Europe, Ukraine is savior of United States, Ukraine must be supported, there should be no ceasefire, Russia always violates ceasefire, literally spitting shit on Trump's face. And then JD Vance intervened and said that Ukraine conscript men forcibly. Ukraine is not winning war. And why is he showing so much arrogance and anger towards Trump? Suddenly Ukrainian president started hurling abuses. So bad word that I can't utter here. If I do, I might get censored. So let's continue. Then Ukrainian ambassador to United States put hand on her heads. She was literally embarrassed to see one of the most funniest event in the world history. Yes, this is one of the most transparent diplomacy ever to be seen in front of everyone's face. And later, when meeting come to conclusion, Trump literally kicked Zelensky out. No deal signed, everything fallen apart, and Trump stopped sending any form of aid to Ukraine. Many European countries suddenly came in defense of Zelensky and started even calling for regime change in US as claimed by Richard Grenell, advisor to President Trump. This created one of the most tense event between United States and NATO Europe. You might wonder why this is happening in first place. The root cause of this funny event actually traces back not to the Cold War. Many people might assume it is Cold War, from where this tension began. Sorry, it did not begin in Cold War. It rather began in First World War. All thanks to one of so-called President Woodrow Wilson. Before Woodrow Wilson, no American president dared to get politically involved in European affairs. They said that Europe is a different place. We liberated ourselves from European continent and hence Europe will manage themselves. We will manage ourselves. Other than trade, nothing will be done between we and Europeans. But Woodrow Wilson changed it in 1917, especially after he started getting involved through giving aid to Belgium, who was fighting against German invaders. it is this event that actually led to creation of US aid. And you know who was there in Belgium giving aid to Belgian victims of First World War? Yes, that was future President Herbert Hoover, who was bureaucrat and an aid provider at that point of time. In fact, this aid was very political in nature because Wilson said that peace needs to be established in Europe because Europe rules most of the world through colonies. And if Europe get destabilized, it will create problem all across world. Europe's problem is world problem, and hence US must get involved to stabilize Europe. And so United States start getting deeply involved. Woodrow Wilson thought that it would be temporary, but later Harding, Coolidge, and specifically Herbert Hoover made it permanent through various institutions like League of Nations, US Aid, State Department, etc. Later, during Second World War, post Second World War, they created a lot of institutions like UN, NATO, EU, GATT, IMF, and others. In order, United States have complete control over European continent, and they use USSR as a boogeyman. This is liberal world order. This was going on very well, even after death of USSR and emergence of new Russia. United States led NATO got closer to Russia by taking in former communist bloc countries into NATO and EU. And it started creating rift with Russia, especially after induction of Baltic state into EU and NATO, which created friction. Remember, Baltic state always used to be integral part of Kievan Rus and Russian state till 1991. Yes, there were some time when Baltic state used to get separated and march back to Russia with some sporadic period, but largely they were part of Russian sphere. And this was time when actually things began to cross red line. Yet, money laundering, corruption, as well as other form of tyranny started getting defended. Example, in name of defending themselves from Russia, NATO European country like Romania have already begun suppressing free speech. Like if you offend the president of Romania or prime minister, you can get jail. Doing hate speech is a crime. Speaking against somebody is a crime. Making meme is a crime. And thousands of people started getting jailed. This is exactly contradictory to American value, which say that freedom is a birthright. First Amendment is the DNA of America. So in actuality, United States was not defending interest of US. It was actually defending world order. And who was benefiting from it? The biggest enemy of the United States, like China, like Iran, like Pakistan, like Qatar, like Venezuela, and others. And as they took advantage of this situation, they got involved in Europe without firing a bullet. And then European continent hypocritically say that if Russia captures Ukraine and Baltics, then China will also invade Taiwan. Hey, then why you are allowing big infra projects like port, railways, roadways, airport, hospital, school through investment of enemies into European continent? Example, Chinese, Pakistani, Iranian, and others. If you are so pro-United States, then you should have kicked them out, but you did not. Instead, you are going totally opposite, increasing investment there. This is also a result of continuous functioning and non-disruption on these European countries which are basically welfare state. And welfare state drawn on Keynesian economics. And Keynesian economics is born to be a failure. So they know that if United States is not there, this welfare state will collapse. And hence a boogeyman is needed. That is Russia. I am not saying whether Russia is right or wrong to invade Europe. Here we are neutral. But there is one clear thing, that in name of protecting themselves from Russia, they are protecting tyrannical welfare state. They know that if Russia is not there, then they will have to spend on defense, which will make them bankrupt, because their economy is not capitalist. Their economy is mercantilist, feudalistic and aristocratic, which is born to collapse. So they use United States as a spender of defense and maintainer of welfare state. Basically mean they will not spend any money of military. They will use United States basically as a lapdog, which is a huge disservice and disrespect to United States by European continent. Trump is absolutely correct here, and so is Elon Musk, that European countries should not screw United States. They should be servant of United States, since US is defending them. Not they should be boss of United States. And so we conclude here that it is actually welfareist as well as feministic countries and government that is using Russia as a boogeyman to use America as a lapdog to maintain welfare state. Thank God Trump has seen all through this and is now kicking all Ukraine and European aid out. In future, we predict that US will either exit from NATO or else will kick out member of NATO's like Romania, Germany, Poland, etc. because they don't have free speech. They will only keep some pro-free speech country into the alliance. The world order is changing. What India can learn? The only thing India can learn is that never get involved in a fight between two big powers like US and China. Make policy independent, and your policy should align with interest of national sovereignty. Of course, align with United States is not a bad idea, yet you should be cautious. And yes, Trump is friend of India and Trump is pro-Asia. He does not like getting involved in Europe because he knows Europe is a dying continent. It will anyway get dead very soon. So if United States get along with Europe, US will die too. Hence, it is better for US to get involved in Asia, Africa and Latin America, pursue free independent policy and befriend countries like India, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Brazil, Mexico and others instead of anti-free speech yet lecture other despots like Germany, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, etc. Sense and sanity prevails. Thank you. If you do like video, do press like button, do press subscribe button, do press bell icon, do comment and of course share to your loved ones.